Ladies, gentlemen, and my NB comrades, welcome back here to Snare Casting as we are now in the grand finals here in the Pinnacle Cup. The finale is upon us. Winstrike taking on the side of Team Spirit. One of these two teams will walk away not just champion, but given the fact that you can't play a TI or a major as any of these two sides, this might represent your final opportunity, your final chance to get yourself some scratch before the TI qualifiers commence. So, very important matchup, very important for the pockets, for the mentality, and for the tournament. Let's get into it. The best of 5, Spirit versus Winstrike. Let's rock. Have ourselves on the Radiant side, Team Spirit, who are chilling, playing with some very familiar faces. We already have the Miroslav Marana early on. Got themselves the Collapse Mars. Kind of miss seeing it. It's been a little bit of time since we saw that hero come out, but it is available here for us. On the other side for Winstrike, they got to this particular portion of the tournament in large measure due to having some very strong team fight. Every single game where I saw them do really well would be games where team fight was pretty much at the forefront of the drafting philosophy. So we do see that being replicated again here today. Clockwork, Lina, Tidehunter. Clockwork, good team fight and very strong in the laning phase. Lina, of course, going to help out with lots and lots of damage. Have this Tidehunter for the Ravage. Good counter initiation versus the Mars. Really like what I'm seeing. Also, one of the things with Clockwork, a very nice way to set up for the LSA. So in the event that they are running this Lina in the mid lane, you put the Clockwork in, have him be the one to show up with power cogs. Lina doesn't have to move around to help you get kills. It becomes a lot easier in that regard. The finals is BO5, isn't it? Well, I guess it might be BO3. You know what's great? You know what's great? You know what's great? You know what's great? I'm just going to be using this game here to try and implement some of the lessons given to me by the great capitalist. Thank you so much, comrade. Thank you. So it doesn't really matter all that much. Yeah, I see that it says BO3 there. Yeah. If it's a BO3, it's a BO3. I guess that's what it has. That's what it is. That's what it is. Phoenix was picked up by Winstrike, and after they went for that, immediately Team Spirits, they go in for the Juggernaut. This is actually quite interesting to me that they decided to pick up this Phoenix from the side of Winstrike, right? You have this Phoenix, more team fight, admittedly, in favor of the team. However, you already had Marana available for Team Spirit. There was still space for Juggernaut. Now you have these two heroes that are extremely proficient at taking out the Supernova. The only way it gets any worse is if they can somehow fit in a Snapfire in the draft somehow. Highly doubt it. If that happens, game is hard, but for the most part, Winstrike will find themselves, I think, relying more and more on the Tidehunter Ravage in front of the Supernova. Or if Supernova is up but Tidehunter Ravage is down, I don't think we're going to see Supernova activated. Just for fear and for risk of Team Spirit easily being able to destroy it. You see now. Further picks, deeper. I don't know. What do they need now for Winstrike, right? So for Winstrike, we have them still needing a hero to go into the safe lane for Diraisho. The only question is, do they actually get it? Do they actually get, like, avoid some... Oh, they banned Wraith King. Wraith King would have been nice. Maybe Ursa? Is that still in the game? Ursa's still in the game somehow. That is somewhat surprising. Okay. Dude, Ursa's still in Dota. Ursa's still in the game. Alright, good luck, y'all. Good luck. I think as well, you're also very happy to have a hero like Ursa when you already have Tidehunter, you already have Phoenix. Sunray heal to help make the Ursa even more survivable. Tidehunter with the Ravage to make sure that you have not only bonus team fight, but you're going to always have the beefcake advantage in the middle of the engagements. And you wanted a hero that can rip through the Juggernaut whilst he's spinning and just fight him heads up, and you don't take that much damage from the Omni Slash either. And it's a hero Diracho plays. We'll see if that's going to be their priority here for him. Get the gyrocopter. Boom. Oh. Yo, Muffy, thanks for telling me, cuz. Nah, I wasn't going to update it at all. I'd completely forgotten. Which is very important because this is a young grand finals. Jesus Christ, I cannot have a messed up scenario. I got too caught up in the lessons from Cap. I was too excited. I was too gassed. I was too excited. Anyway, with the last pick, gyrocopter coming in for Diraicho here. What do y'all think? Is Diraicho's gyro going to be enough to carry them over the line? I'm a bit concerned about the gyrocopter pick, primarily because this is coming off of the heels of them going in and grabbing the young Doom as the final overall pick for the team. Creates kind of these problems, right? You're playing this gyro, who in the earlier portions of the game, even like at least before he has Agnum Scepter and a bunch of other items, is generally going to find himself dishing out magic damage in the midst of these fights. So if you have a hero that is really, really good against all that magic damage, in the sense that he just presses one button, Doom, and there's no more magic damage, and the magic damage is finished, and now it's over. So quite peculiar that this is the decision making that's coming out, but gyro it is as the last overall pick. I like Team Spirit's draft at the beginning. I think with the gyro, the team fight advantage is pretty absurd on the side of Windstrike. They can fight pretty much anywhere, anytime for quite a long time in the game without too much difficulty befalling them. However, I think they are going to be struggling in terms of getting these heroes out and about throughout the game. The issue is the pace. Like, they have massive team fight, right, from Windstrike. You've got the Tide Ravage, you've got Supernova, you've got Cooldown, all this big AoE damage. Whenever there's a big 5v5 team fight with all the cooldowns down, this team looks extremely strong. However, one of the things that we keep talking about when it comes to Team Spirit, right? When do they look good? When does Team Spirit look the best? When they're playing very, very fast. Lots of tempo, lots of movement on the map. And I think this is the kind of draft that will give them that. The one little bit slow part is the Doom. However, there's a lot of tempo that will come in from the Marana, the Mars, the Juggernaut. So they can play a game fast enough, and they have access to the double Doom. So despite the Doom being a little bit slower than normal, the fact that he has the double Doom means that you only need that one fight once in a while to be hyper effective and to move on from there, and to increase not just your share of the map control, but your share of the farm, your share of experience, and then potentially your share of the W. So let's see what ends up happening here. Shout out to you, Muffy. Muffy had my back. Shout out, comrade. Thanks, son. So now we can get into this properly. Well, we can in just a moment once we have the feed start to cooperate. Actually, really annoying that this keeps happening. Come on. It's not that hard. You can do it. There we go. So we're now back into the game. The grand finals, Windstrike versus Team Spirit. Only one of the teams can emerge victorious as top one. Not everybody can be in that position. So I'm gonna have to see in this game whether or not Team Spirit, having come in from the lower bracket, can make the full run, get themselves the championship, or is it going to be Windstrike? No contestation around these early bounty runes just yet. Going to be just a straight up trade. 2-2 on the bounties. I like this kind of start to the game. Just have a little bit of lag. Feels bad. So it is a best of 5. As we can see inside the game itself, it's been updated properly on the graphic. So it's just the external graphic that they didn't properly update. But we have a full best of 5. Personally, I favor Team Spirit. I really favor this team. But I'm a little bit biased because I've loved Team Spirit for quite a while. So I've been rooting for them. I want them to win. I want them to get these dubs. The question is whether or not they'll be able to. I hope they do. I hope they do. I hope they do. Just an early pause here as we have a quick disconnect from Collapse. Taking into account the nature of this game as it starts out, we are going to be having Toronto Tokyo play middle, it seems, on the Doombringer. Personally, I do think that this Doom hero has a lot more potential than what we've generally seen from it. But I think it's in an alright place. I don't want this hero being overpicked. And in tandem with the Grimstroke here, do think Soweto Soul can make quite a lot happen. Especially against the Gyrocopter. I'm very worried about this Gyro. It feels like he's just the primary Doom target every single time. Oh, I'm ready for the major, y'all. I'm ready for the major. Just today, I was busy in production. Yesterday, the power went off for longer than expected. And it cut production in short. I was busy producing the group stage video for the major. So that one might only come out like tomorrow morning. Oh, must change the category as well. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. Y'all are out here. Y'all are out here. Thank you so much. So now we just look at the game proper. Let's get into it. Let's not waste any more time. So this is going to be a very interesting mid configuration, right? Rebel versus Toronto Tokyo. This is a lane that should break more or less in favor of this Lina. She's got an absurd amount of spam in this lane. Lots of easy ways to take out the range creep at the end. But on the bright side, one thing that it does also do is Toronto Tokyo shouldn't die here. The Doom should stay alive. Oh, top lane. Mira catches an arrow onto Pantomime and they will be able to find the first blood. Miroslav opening the killing ledger. Bringing down this clockwork. Writing his name in it. Good way to start the game here. Form of Fat apparently at 6 or 6:30 there might be, but I'm not sure. Because they also say they might cancel it, so I actually don't know, dude. Who the hell knows? It was supposed to have been cancelled yesterday by 5 AM, so we'll see what happens. Cheshire Cat here in this bottom lane, he's going to be playing up against Yatoro. We've seen this lane many times in the past. The Tide Hunter into the Juggernaut lane. For the most part, no in-game sound? Aren't y'all getting sound? How about now? It might just be really soft though, because remember, I'm not putting out this audio. I'm just getting it and feeding it to y'all directly through OBS. Let me know if you can hear it a little bit louder now. Whilst we're busy configuring audio solutions to make sure everybody's satisfied, we turn our attention and our gaze back into the game. Collapse and Mira. We've seen these two guys play this lane in particular so many times in the past. So we know that the danger starts to emerge literally the second that Collapse hits level 6. Bottom though, Yatoro in a lot of danger. And they take out this Juggernaut. He tried to make his way back through the lane, but he dies here. I don't know what happened. Where was the spin? Got caught slipping a bit there. That is a big yikes. That is a big yikes. Losing your Toro in that kind of situation, as Cheshire Cat, you normally expect to be able to get your farm in the lane, not have to worry too much about the jug bothering you. Depending on who is helping in the support capacity, then maybe you have an opportunity to kill as the jug if there's like some Earthshaker, Earth Spirit, Mirana, Grimstroke sometimes. But instead, Cheshire Cat getting the early kill makes this lane a lot better for the Tide Hunter. Opens up that earlier team fighting for them too. Because all of their heroes have some exemplary methods of team fight, it's not as crucial for them to always maintain a hold on the Ravage. It's necessary to protect Supernova, but just to fight overall, They can do it without the big spell. Top lane. Ooh, Mira. Nice. Mira gets taken out by the Rocket Flare. Pantomime gets some revenge for the first blood. And they do get this Mirana down. In the meantime, though, Diraicho's been having a bit of a difficult time initially in the CS up on top, but is starting to now get into a better position. Hasn't died like Yotoro bottom, so despite the two heroes being equivalent on the CS, he's going to have a bit more net worth at this point in the game. By the way, for those of you who do not know, please thank our boy and praise our boy Class X Jaeger, who is now an official mod for the Beyond the Summit team. Legend, legend, legend. I'm so proud of you, fam. So proud of you. We see down bottom that Cheshire Cat, despite having come into a lane where he might not have been favored to do all that well, continuing to do very well at this point. Level 4. Has the full Soul Ring finished up. Foot of Defiance being built. I wonder if he wants to go for the full pipe, but I doubt it. I think just Foot of Defiance by itself should be acceptable. Yotoro, in this game, now that he's already suffered the early death, the indignity of it, I wonder what he's going to decide to build into. Generally, we've been seeing the early Maelstrom as the first overall item from Juggernauts. However, some people still prefer the old ways and decide to build into the Battle Fury. We'll see what the decision is going to be here for Yotoro. Diraicho, in the meantime, also has some decisions to make on the Gyrocopter in terms of, do I start with Maelstrom? Do I rush the SNY? Do I go straight for Aghanim Scepter? What do I do? What do I do? And we do see Toronto Tokyo. As we discussed earlier, we do have a scenario where Rebel, for the most part, gets more out of this mid lane. However, as time goes on, let's see what Toronto Tokyo decides to do with the gold that he picks up, even if he's losing in the CS matchup. Rebel does have an easier time making a rotation or try to get a kill as this Lina. So I would not be surprised to see him be the first one to make that move. Right now he's playing fairly close to Toronto Tokyo to try and deny as many of these creeps as he can, and he denies 3 of them. Very large wave going towards the Doombringer. But Harare Havana, unfortunately, cannot get all the CS that he wants out of it. Just had a small DC there, but we're back into the cut now. Boschka. Rinkswell does stun out onto the Lina. Oof, this is great times. This is lovely. This is lovely. It's one thing if you're as Lina thinking to yourself, okay, I want to get all these levels and go get kills on the map. But you're running to try and interrupt Toronto Tokyo. But the Doom calls in his allies. And that's often what you want to have happen when you have an immobile hero like Doom. Instead of trying to spin your wheels and consider exactly how on earth I'm going to get a rotation. Top lane, Diraicho. They don't even need the level 6. Normally what happens is that Collapse will pop Arena, throw in the spear. Mira follows this up with an arrow and they find the kill. But this time around, raw spear into the tree was enough to set up for the arrow. And now suddenly we find ourselves with back-to-back big kills on the map for the side of Team Spirit. That's so huge. Now spin onto Cheshire Cat, just gonna spin TP out. Nobody being positioned down bottom does mean that Windstrike, at least for now, could put some pressure onto the tower, but they just poured in Toronto Tokyo. And our boy here, make sure that there's no push coming in. Diraicho does show up in order to ensure that they just swap around, get the towers down. He's tired of being aggressed into in the top part of the map, so this is where things will be safe. We do see that both safe laners have been major strugglers so far. Nobody's been a beneficiary of major support team. Mid lane, Phantom's Embrace onto Rebel, and they should be able to bring down the Lina. One more right click, did not connect, and there is going to be some bottle refreshing, regenning. So Rebel should be a-okay. Ends up getting away to safety. What's our boy Collapse doing here in the top lane? Getting closer towards getting level 8. What do we want here from Collapse? I don't think I want him to rush Blink Dagger actually. Might want Dual Scepter this one. There is a move potentially onto him with Power Cogs against him, but unfortunately for Pantomime, this is not really going to work out because there was another creep inside the Power Cogs there, bouncing off the Battery Assault, so Collapse wasn't really threatened. Instead, it was Pantomime that ends up dying at the end of the day. And this is perfectly acceptable, right? They use the Arena of Blood to hold up these heroes inside this part of the map. And that will mean no real plays. This was so close. Look at this. Rebel almost dies here. The right click's coming in. One more right click. Oh, uphill miss. Uphill miss. Actually kept Rebel alive. Doom, the first one of the game, thrown out in the top lane towards Cheshire Cat. And this will be a very easy kill. They will prevent the Ravage from coming out. And as much as later on in the game you want to be dooming Gyro, it's very effective to doom the Tidehunter as well. Not having Ravage, Windstrike will not try to take any large-scale engagements without that spell. Wait, are we back on PowerPoint stream? Don't say that. No, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. No, don't say that. Oh my god, are you serious? Are you kidding me? How bad is it, everybody? Let me know. Let me know how bad it is. Oh lord, oh lord, oh lord. So mid lane, an arrow did connect onto Cheshire Cat. However, they just want to slowly but surely keep them away from the tower. The more difficult you make it to get close to the tower, the longer the thing stays alive. Funny how that works, isn't it? Very bizarre. Mid lane though, Cheshire Cat might die regardless, get pinned to the wall. Do they have enough damage to kill him? Indeed they do. They also have the Phantom's Embrace to prevent the application of the Ravage. They throw a knot onto Yamich as well. And can they kill him before Supernova comes out? They cannot, but Supernova is gonna get destroyed regardless. Toronto Tokyo taking this out on the far side of the fight, and he will be able to successfully retreat. Pantomime trying to get the chase down. Got a hook onto Collapse, but you can't get anything off the back of this. It looks like when it doesn't rain, it pours, everybody, so... Good thing for the day, lessons from Cap, good times. Bad things for the day, apparently the internet woes are back. Not so good times. Yatoro at the very least trying to make up for what's happened in the earlier portion of the game. He has made his decision in terms of what to build, despite being forced into a very uncomfortable position. Still gonna buy this early Maelstrom. Reckons that he needs at least a farming item. If he goes straight for like S and Y, then he has no real opportunity to catch back up. Also, Jireen, how's it going lately, fam? How was your day yesterday? No. You see the cameraman giving some advice to his replay guy. Based. That's teamwork right there, man. That's teamwork right there. You see Jiraicho, he is gonna have made the decision to go for the Agnum Scepter first. I do think you need a farming item on this hero, and you also need as early defense as humanly possible. Like Gyrocopter in the early portion of the game is not having fun at all if he shows up to fights. Giving him Ags gives him both damage and stats and a way to start farming. And you don't feel terrible about going like Ags into BKB. Because you need BKB as soon as humanly possible as you're playing Gyrocopter. Despite the fact that you're playing into Doom and Omni Slash, you still need BKB. I like the fact that Miroslav is making the decision to build into getting the mech in this game. A lot of the times we've seen Team Spirit come away from good engagements over the last couple of days have been in situations where they have the sustain advantage. So whatever he can do to try and give himself the sustain advantage is quite required here. Yotaro has the Maelstrom. No longer sitting bottom net worth on all the cores. And he can begin to farm up. If you see how they're playing right now on the side of Team Spirit, they're trying to keep him on the side of the map where they don't want to play as a team. So that he's able to get space to farm. And now they might decide to smoke up because Collapse has just picked up this Blink Dagger. So here we go. Blink up on Collapse. We're gonna try find something here. It's moving quietly. See this Lina. Not sure they saw. They see him now. Rebel has shown himself. Inkswell onto Collapse. This is gonna be a certified kill and absolutely no escape possible for our Lina. And they don't want to commit the arena for this, as he did go into the Invis rune. But ultimately, pop the arena. They have the sentry ward down and they do find the kill. Quite important. Because that's not just a Lina. This is a Lina in a game where this Gyrocopter is still not feeling fully comfortable about showing his presence and showing his face for fights. So in this interim period, easy free tier 1 tower to grab in the mid lane. They do have Cheshire Cat here. They could potentially threaten with the Ravage. Looks like they're going to threaten with the cooldown. Cheshire Cat still positioning himself very far forward. They force the dive back out of the Phoenix. And they really want to actually defend this tower. So they're running out of time. 3 seconds until they're back up with the Lina. Ravage coming up onto all 5 heroes. 2 heroes inside of the power cogs from Pantomime, and Miposhka will be the first one to die. However, with the Omni Slash from the Juggernaut, they do kill the Clockwork back. Pantomime dies. Miposhka dies. Only 2 heroes have been taking a tumble thus far. Toronto, Tokyo gotten slowed down by the Cheshire Cash Gush. And they close the gap even further. Miroslav does have Sacred Arrow, but probably still dies here. Oh, dodges the Dragon Slave, so still alive. Anchor Smash doesn't connect either, so Cheshire Cat can't find the kill. Mira juking away like a boss. And everything is gonna be fine. They lose the tier 1 tower middle though, but you expected that to happen. Collapse actually jumping in, finding the Arena of Blood, catching it out onto the Juggernaut. Oh, the Gyrocopter. Do they have enough to kill Gyro? They don't. Cheshire Cat just posts up in front of Toronto, Tokyo. So Paris, Perth can't close the gap. Jireen, there might be a final countdown. I also hope there isn't, but there might be. It's so dark, this though. We'll brighten it again, but I'm very wary of making it too bright so that you can't actually see anything. Hookshot. Going forward from Pantomime, they get the crab onto Collapse, and that should allow them to get that kill. That was quite nice. Collapse has been sitting on an unstoppable streak. The position that he's in at present does allow him to pretty much get all he needs out of the matchup without having to find himself in possession of that much farm. So the fact that he dies here, it's unfortunate, it sucks, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Alright, how's that for their brightness? Is that a little bit better? Is it? So here was this Ravage, right? So look at this. Ravage from Cheshire Cat catches 5 heroes. They get the power cogs onto Miposhka and the Juggernaut, but unfortunately that gives the chance for Yotaro to get off the Omni Slash. 1-1 trade. They almost killed Jug though. Yotaro came down to 70 HP. Too bright. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. There we go. Is that bright enough now? Or dark enough? That's not too bright. Oh, hookshot misses top. I wonder what does Mascar Massachusetts build next in terms of the big item that we need. I don't think he wants Blink Dagger. Maybe like straight into the Shiva's Guard. Just tank up from the jump. Mid lane. Speaking of him, we're gonna have to discuss him now. Moscow, Massachusetts actually has the early BKB. So he went Midas BKB into Shiva's. Alright. This will allow him to not just tank up for the fights, but be a more disruptive presence without having to worry about, crap, if I die too soon, then I'm not really effective because I won't have the critical spells for my team. We do see that Miroslav is able to get ahead of a incoming rotation from the side of Windstrike, alerts his team to what's happening, and they're like, well, let's get the hell out of here. We haven't spoken that much about the atomization from some of these Windstrike heroes of Rebel, in particular Rebel. We spoke about Cheshire Cat, we spoke a little bit about Diraicho. Rebel had access to the BKB that we just saw. That Lina honestly has the potential to really be a thorn in the side for Team Spirit, given the fact that she can sit pretty far back and they don't have that much gap close on the side of Team Spirit. If they're not initiating with the Moonlight Shadow, it's quite easy for the Lina to position herself such that she's never caught out by the entire Team Spirit lineup. Yes. Waterloo Warsaw should definitely be the people that we favor. I think they're the better team. They're very inconsistent, but they are the better team. A question that I have for this game is whether or not Rabel, after picking up the Lincoln Sphere, if he still wants BKB as well. Oh, hookshot came so close to connecting onto Mira. Doesn't end up hitting though. But if Rabel is going to go for full survivability or more into the utility damage route, looks like the question is answered in minutia here, as Yule Scepter is the first go. I would like the Lincoln Sphere eventually from this hero, but I imagine that right now I want something to allow him to be a bit more impactful in these fights. Now we see the attempt onto the Roshan. Double damage for Toronto Tokyo. Yotaro right next to him, throwing out these right clicks. And Pantomime does not have hookshot for another 20 seconds, so not very easy for the Clockwork to get into the pit. But they are still zoned away from the Roche. There's no presence in the Gyrocopter close to the fight just yet because he desperately wants to finish off the BKB. Fortunately for him, Team Spirit do not have the appetite to try to finish off the Roche just yet without at least finding one pick off. Still though, absent having Gyro, now that he's shown himself bottom, potentially they try to go in for this on the side of Team Spirit, but without having the double damage rune, hell, not even having the double damage on Yotaro, they certainly will not have enough to kill the Roshan quickly, so it's very, very, very risky. Which does mean that there's a little bit of extra efficiency gained here by Windstrike. They're able to farm the triangle, get the BKB, all without having to sacrifice position around the Roshan pit. And Team Spirit recognize that the current status quo is not beneficial to them, so they try to smoke up right now. Smoke gank gets popped, Pantomime spots out Havana, and the jump in will be there. They want to try and find Pantomime. Hookshot away, Ravage shoe from Cheshire Cat onto absolutely everybody. Yatoro is able to spin away for some degree of safety. They drop down the Arena of Blood to secure the escape for everybody else. And that is going to secure the escape for now. Omni Slash jumping back in. Yotaro wants to extend this fight. The spin is up in 2 seconds. Buyback was there from Miposhka. Miroslav in the meantime able to bring down Pantomime, who also buys back with immediate effect. Don't want to give this one up. This is the ticket potentially to victory. Cheshire Cat, no Ravage, and suddenly no life as they run him down. Yotaro able to use the spin to get the final kill. The question is, do they get the rest of the fight? Toronto Tokyo wants the Doom onto somebody, pops the BKB. He drew the Laguna Blade, and Yotaro caught inside the power cogs. Pantomime stopped him in his tracks, and they followed that up with the LSA, and they find the kill onto Yotaro. Now they all have to flee. Can they get out of here? Jump in from Collapse. The Inkswell stun will come out, but there's no follow-up just yet. Diraicho, BKB popped by him, gets bashed by the Roshan with Collapse inside the power cogs. Will they be able to kill him? Not just yet. Instead, Pantomime decides to hookshot over to Miposhka.
Now your fish food.
Somehow throughout all of this, we have yet to see them able to actually use the Chicago-Cincinnati Doom. It's still up, it's still available. But with both Yatoro and Miposhka dead, John Tokyo will hold on to the Doom and just join his comrades in the fountain, attempting to run, attempting to hide, but your attempt, my friend, will ultimately be in vain. They find him, they kill him. Came very close though. It was like a sliver of a second before the TP actually triggered, but unfortunately the Yule Scepter from Rebel was there, was available, enabled them to take a big fight, and now here they are back in the Roshan pit to claim the spoils of war. But they don't have the fastest Roshan damage either, so Team Spirit, 20 seconds until they have the Doom online. If they can somehow delay this, Cheshire Cat also doesn't have Ravage either, but doesn't seem like Team Spirit want to take an unnecessary chance, unnecessary risk. And the Rosh will go the way of Windstrike, Aegis in the hands of Diraicho. And Yatoro in danger now here in the top lane, as he does have access to the spin TP out potentially. But there's the hookshot, Pantomime pushes him back. The spin does come, but still quite a bit of damage here. Yatoro is not safe. He needs assistance ASAP. There's going to be the Ravage from Cheshire Cat. Catches him up. And he's stunned. He's dead. They even popped a supernova from good measure from Yamish to make sure nobody could close in to try and save the Jug. Off the back of that, Windstrike, their team fight advantage, they've been using it very well. I think the thing that's been giving them the success in these engagements has been primarily their positioning. And off the back of that, they get the tier 1 top. Let's see how far they can push into the tier 2, considering that they still have access to the Aegis.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, Spirit is at the major. Spirit is at the major, but it's gonna be a rough major for them, in my opinion. I think they would have done a lot better. I don't know. Like, Team Spirit this last few weeks, they haven't seemed as strong as they did like a couple of weeks before that. I don't know, Dota's weird. People hit particular phases where right now we look really good. We're on the map, we're making things happen. However, yeah. I don't know, man. Feels right now Team Spirit doesn't feel like they're at the peak of their powers. I still think they're a stronger team than Windstrike. But Windstrike is doing really well in this game. Jump in middle, they want Cheshire Cat. They should be able to find a kill onto him. He's still alive though, because Pantomime interrupted this by jumping in, making sure that the Doom couldn't get any closer. Havana Harare could not use out the Doom, but Cheshire Cat and Yamish will be caught inside the arena. Yatoro throws in the Omni Slash for good measure, and they found themselves a double kill off of that. Because they didn't pop the Doom, somehow it's still going to be available from Berlin Beru.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under
Suddenly Team Spirit,
Dire's structure.
because this game is so even, any one of those kills that happen like that can turn the tide of the entire game. The swing of momentum now rests slightly in favor of Team Spirit, but that could still change at a moment's notice. So as this game has been going on and on, as we're just gonna quickly take a gander at a replay here. So Pantomime really was thinking to himself, maybe I can help, and he almost did. Had he caught Yatoro there, then Jug can't run forward to throw in the Omni Slash, and then they don't actually have the damage to finish this off very quickly. But for me, the bigger thing about Yatoro showing up for the kills is that Yatoro actually gets involved in getting kills without having to lose his own life. Actually, that's what we should do. I should try to like start at A and then see if we can wind up at Z and back again. So we'll start at the top. We'll start at the top. We'll start at the top and see how well we can do here. Big fight breaking out in the mid lane. Jump in. Rebel. Had to pop the BKB, but hey, okay. You smoke up though from the rest of Team Spirit. Looking for a way to jump in onto these Windstrike supports. They know that Pantomime is in the area, but catching him is a different story entirely, and it does not seem they'll be able to do so. Moonlight Shadow does get popped, and they weren't scouted doing this move either, but with how long they've been Mia on the map, it might dawn on Windstrike that something like this is coming. However, with the positioning of the Gyro, he's in a dangerous place. Pantomime TPs to that side of the map to potentially help Gyro in case this danger is real, but does not seem like they'll be able to close the gap on time. So jump in from this Toronto Tokyo Doombringer. Goes top. There's gonna be a Cheshire Cat Ravage. Oh, Doom dies very, very quickly inside those power cogs. Supernova used up as well. They are able to melt down Neposhka. Supernova does pop. Collapse gonna be the next target. Right click down by Diraisho. Double kill for the Gyro. 3 heroes having fallen. What happened? What happened? What happened? So I want to see a replay there, right? That initial jump onto the high ground from Alberta, Amsterdam, that one is the one that felt really bizarre. Phoenix Supernova does come in afterwards and is not strictly speaking necessary, but the Doom cannot afford to jump in just onto a Clockwork. He has to be jumping to Doom Tidehunters, to Doom Gyrocopters. He's not doing that. Suddenly those heroes can do whatever the hell they want. Dude, Clockwork, dude. Clockwork. That hero is insane. It needs to be picked and banned every single game without fail. That's why you also can't jump on Clockwork. Jumping Clockwork, terrible idea. Unless you have everything on him, you're not going to kill him before he can get off at least one spell. And if he gets off at least one spell, half the time he's done his job. He's disrupted the team from advancing any further, or can set up for his own team to be able to come back in and close the gap. Berlin Beirut in the boys' middle. Thinking like they want to smoke up. Little do they know they're sitting right underneath an observer ward, so probably just better to play as a unit. Move around onto this triangle area. Keep farm together because Roche will eventually come up again and you absolutely need the next Aegis. Cannot afford for it to fall into the hands of Windstrike again because the lineup that they picked for themselves as Team Spirit requires them to fight. Every time they're not fighting and it's just a pure farm fest, they're actually falling behind. That's actually not a terrible idea, Jireen. That's not a terrible idea. Something that will interest all of you to know is that that video I just did now for the wildcards has gotten by far the most traction of anything I've ever done on YouTube. Of all the original videos, I mean, like just not when I'm streaming. It like got triple the views of my next closest one, and it's still climbing. It's kind of insane.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Rebel. Sitting with Cheshire Cat here. This Lina, she has Daedalus. They also have a Daedalus on the Gyrocopter, so an absurd amount of right-click damage available for the Windstrike side. And because Rebel hasn't really been threatened at all, has been allowed to sit very far back, means that it's quite difficult to stop this damage. There's going to be the first Doom of the game. Beautiful arena coming in from Collapse, catching 3 heroes. Supernova does drop down though, and it's going to pop. It's going to stun 2 heroes. There was a Ravage as well to follow that up. So despite the fact that they got a good arena, they still use Yatoro first inside the bubble itself. Next of all will be this Doombringer, Rebel. They do end up losing the Gyrocopter in the midst of the fight, but he buys back. He's in the fray, drops a cooldown, able to get a kill. Now he wants more with Collapse gone. This is a buyback on Yatoro. Yatoro cannot afford to lose his life trying to spin away to safety. Does get closer towards the base, so he is alive. But I highly doubt the lane of Rax will share his good fate, as they're being sieged upon right now. And with the double Daedalus, there's absolutely no chance in hell that these buildings survive. Hey, awesome. Diraicho, top of the net worth right now. And Team Spirit were past the point where they feel comfortable actually playing this game very happily. The only way they actually find good fights is only in those situations we saw what just happened down bottom right. You get an arena onto several, you start out by getting the Doom onto the Gyrocopter, and then the best you can do is just killing Gyro, not even winning the fight. As we're at the point there's too much team fight to deal with. And because they have so many things that they can put in front of the Supernova, a super tanky Tidehunter, Clockwork Goblin with power cards, Lina throwing in LSAs and Dragon Slaves, it's extremely difficult for the Juggernaut or Mirana to even think about closing the gap onto the Supernova. So Yamech is free to use this as and when he pleases. You know what's really funny, Jareen, right, about that video is I don't even think it's the best work I've put out. Which video was it? There's like two videos, some of the politics ones. Yo, those videos are really good. There's only one of the politics videos that I've done that I didn't feel was actually that great. All the others I'm like, my god, this is top shelf content. But the people want the gaming stuff, so people will get the gaming stuff. It is what it is. With Satanic, dude, they've got one Satanic on Diraicho. Rabel is building the other one. So you'll have double Satanic, double Daedalus, double BKBs, an absurd amount of right click damage, all at a point where this Juggernaut is no longer so threatening that a single Omni Slash guarantees killing you. Even as the Lina, even if you didn't have Yule Scepter, you might still feel bullish about your chances of actually surviving through the spell itself, especially when you have the backup of the Phoenix. So we are certainly presented with some difficulties here for how Windstrike are gonna lose the game. Team Spirit. Yatoro went for this very high stat build, but not helping him with the necessary punch to kill these heroes. So Windstrike will very cavalierly stack up in Radiant Triangle. Slowly but surely push in mid and top. Still have this Aegis from Diraicho for a fair degree of time. Lotus Orb onto him comes out a little bit. Ironically, it came out too soon. It came out like 1 second before, 1 moment rather, before the arrow connected onto him. It comes a moment later, the arrow is dispelled, but it is what it is. Rabel takes out the T2 top, so with 2 towers gone, here they go. Time for a Laner Axe. Extremely difficult here for Team Spirit to defend against this. Can they make it happen? Collapse. It's a homing missile. This is frustrating for him. They desperately want to stop this Rax from being taken. They get the Doom out. Doom in both directions though, because there was the Lotus Orb already sent. Still falling fairly low. Sunray keeping him up. They can't jump in because there's a Supernova on that side of the fight. Yamech still throwing in the Sunray. There's going to be a Spear of Mars throwing back the Gyrocopter. This might be dangerous. They get the first life out of him. Okay. What else can they make happen here? Clockwork just buys so much space. He's going to die, but he's guaranteed that his team is able to claim the full lane of Rax. Toronto Tokyo pops the refresher, jumping in to try and find another Doom target, but there's too much damage coming in from Windstrike. Before he can even throw out the Doom, he finds himself being brought down. Chester Cat with the Ravage, catching on the 3. Miposhka on collapse. Now have to try and flee away from Diraicho. And with the second Supernova back up, Yatoro doesn't get stunned, but they recognize that it is done. It is done. There is no way back into this one. And our main man of Dar es Salaam, Deep Sluet, calls the GG. Windstrike with the W. So game 1 here in those grand finals goes the way of Windstrike. Somebody was saying in chat that Windstrike might come out 3-1 in their opinion from these finals. And if they are going to come out 3-1, that's how you start out a game like that. Congratulations to them. Pretty sick performance. Let's quickly take a look at these graphs right quick. The thing that I am most impressed by from what we saw from the side is primarily, not only, but primarily the fact that they were able to keep the team fights in the team fights. Windstrike didn't do that thing that you sometimes see teams doing, where you overcommit before you're ready. If they weren't able to fight, they just wouldn't take it. And heroes would die, but they'd be like, okay, cool, we're not ready to take it. However, the counterpoint to that is that the moment you are ready to fight, the moment you've got the double BKBs for Lina and Gyrocopter and have Blink Dagger for Cheshire Cat, there's no reason not to go. And after that, they go and they never freaking stop. Clockwork as well, Pantomime, ban clock. That's my advice. Ban clock. Don't allow this hero in your game. Remove it. If it's not a feature of your game, it can't beat you in your game. Pretty good game that we just saw here from the side of Windstrike. Very clean victory. And honestly, if it stays like this might be a 3-0 from them, because my goodness, did they just look super clean. They exploited a lot of the weaknesses from Team Spirit. They know that when you play against Team Spirit, this is a team that likes to play fast, right? Like we were discussing. If you can prevent them from doing that, Team Spirit will make a mistake trying to force the game back into a better position for themselves. I mean, how many times did we see Yatoro trying to find very small pockets of farm on the map and just be shut down every single time? You know what's on the other side of that shutting down? Pantomime. You know what? Nah. You know what? Actually, you know who's getting this award? Who's getting this? This right here goes to our boy Pantomime. Shout out to Pantomime. Congratulations, Pantomime. You get the putting in work award for the day, my friend. Fantastic game that we saw from Windstrike. And now, as they lead into the second draft, let us see whether or not they can put forth another strong performance like that, turn this into a 2-0 in the grand finals, or if our boys from Team Spirit can start fighting this one back, start making this a bit more of a competitive series, because the way it's looking now, Windstrike, whoa, yeah, I think we might be looking at a very difficult day for Team Spirit. With that though, we're going to take a short break while the team is set up for that game, so don't go anywhere. In the meantime, make sure that you are following the stream, especially because now that we've gotten these lessons from Cap, the stream is just going to get better and better and better. Also, in the meantime, if you've been enjoying yourself, you've had a good time, please consider becoming a supporter by either becoming a subscriber here on Twitch. You can also decide to pull through onto Patreon and become a patron over there, or you can become a PayPal person and just make a one-time donation on PayPal. All the links and information for that will be underneath the stream here on Twitch. With that done, Game 2 coming soon. So do not go anywhere, and we'll be getting into the hype for some more incredible Dota 2 action. Ladies, gentlemen, and my NB comrades, welcome back here to Snare Casting as we're going into game 2 of the grand finals here in the Pinnacle Cup between the side of Team Spirit and Windstrike, who are currently sitting one game ahead, proving that they are good for the money to be placed from the winner's side here in the grand finals, and they're looking to make sure that they win as easily as humanly possible, having grabbed game 1 in very aggressively dominant fashion there. Let's see what they can do in game 2, or if we have Team Spirit, if we have the crew of Edinburgh Ekasi able to pull back, give us a W. Let's see where we get into it. Windstrike versus Team Spirit, game 2. Team Spirit playing on Radiant side. They have themselves Mars Grimstroke and Jareen. What do you see? You know what'll make you happy? Clockwork Band. That's what should happen. That's right, everybody. Ban Clock, the other team bans Ancient Apparition, and then we'll all have a good time. We'll play some good Dota. Windstrike responded to the first overall pick of Mars by grabbing themselves Winter Wyvern Lina. For Rabel, I suppose if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Your performance was incredible. No reason to change that up by any real stretch of the imagination, so keep doing what you're doing. Winter Wyvern now as an additional way to not only break up more fights, now they don't have to use Ravage, for example, to stop the Mars from effective inside arena. Now you're happy to fight inside the arena. You're like, drop that arena, see what happens, guy. The light of the stream. What do you mean? Oh, you mean the darkness. Listen, I'm getting a clean feed from the Dota folk. Hold on, I'll make it brighter again. For everybody who doesn't know, I will reiterate this yet and yet again, that the Dota feed is not actually coming from my computer. This is from the relog folk themselves. So there's a limited amount I can do in terms of making adjustments here, but I'll hook you up. I'll do what I can. I'll do what I can. How is that? How is that? How? Because I have to keep brightening it. By the time the stream is over, my eyes will be just bright globs of blue, but I'll look really cool, so no worries. It's all good. So getting back into the game now, we were speaking earlier about the Winter Wyvern being happily able to provide counter initiation against the Mars. You say, cool, come fight us, Mars, go in like that. At the same time, they still go on ahead and grab the Cheshire Cat Tidehunter, so they still have Ravage. Despite not needing it, they still have it available for themselves. At the same time, Team Spirit, they're the ones that steal the Phoenix this time around. Yamich will feel, in the laning phase, there were a couple of moments where he was instrumental to giving his team the early advantage. He will feel, to his credit here, that it's not that important that I play Phoenix, I can play whatever. In the previous game, Supernova wasn't really the spell that was used. The spell that was used a lot was Sunray, and we saw that be very, very effective. Oh, you wanted more, dog. Please be clear, bro. I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Alright, we'll increase the contrast ratio. Yeah, it is Mars Phoenix, right? Don't get me wrong, it's Mars Phoenix. And normally, you know how I am about Mars Phoenix. That thing, this combo drives me insane. I love seeing it. However, in this game, I'm not sure. Because there's so much counter initiation from Windstrike, and they still have this Lina. They have Nyx Assassin now, who's the new hero that's got introduced to replace the Phoenix. The way that they're set up right now from Windstrike, I just don't really see them finding themselves in a position where the Supernova is going to have that big of an impact. The arenas from Collapse basically have to be pitch perfect every time, while also having vision of the Winter Wyvern to not allow him to come in with the Winter's Curse, and making sure that they've tracked Cheshire Cat so there's no jump in with the Ravage, and making sure while that's happening that the Supernova is close enough to pop and succeed, but not close enough to the Lina that she just turns her attention towards it and destroys it anyway. It's rough, is what I'm trying to say. It is pretty rough. Well, TA is the hero that gets picked here. I really like this though from Team Spirit. I do think that the team fight advantage still is in the favor of Windstrike at present, but having a hero like TA now gives you some kind of snowball advantage, and you have a better matchup versus the Lina in the mid lane. Will allow like a lot of farm to go towards the TA. She can just stay there soaking up a lot of that, and I don't even want to add brightness. You want me to take down contrast? Is it looking still too much on your side? I feel like at this point I just want to tell y'all to be strong and just deal with it. Is it visible? If you can see it, then be strong. Only if you can't see it. If you can't see stuff, then let me know. But if you can't see it, be strong. Last picks here that are going to be required. We still have, yet again, Windstrike setting up for the last pick on Diraicho. Ironically enough, I could actually see them picking Gyrocopter again for him. Good ban, actually, on the Gyro. This would be a very good Gyro game that would be terrifying to play into. First while against them, Drow and Monkey King were taken out by the Windstrike lineup. So let's see what are we having for your Toro. Played a lot of Juggernaut and Lifestealer these last couple of days. There was one troll game from him a few days back. And it's gonna be the Faceless Void. Okay. Not that much damage into the bubble outside of Sunray. I suppose this is more like late game insurance, and it gives them this one additional spell that they always have comfort and comfortability fighting around. Also, if the Supernova is available, there's another spell you can combo it with. You don't have to rely only on the Mars in this situation. In fact, I can see situations where Phoenix jumps in, pops Supernova, and then when he baits heroes towards him to try and destroy the egg, and that's when the Void jumps in to pop down the Chronosphere. But Windstrike now, we've seen the whole draft. They have the last pick. Diraicho, what will he want? He wants Lifestealer. Okay. I think that's a really good Lifestealer game. They can set a very fast pace. But the crucial thing for them is that there's no way the Faceless Void is going to be online soon enough to be a threat. Void needs a lot to be effective as a hero. The Windstrike team will be turning up into Void's face well before he's ready. Honestly, I really like this Windstrike draft. I prefer what they've got for themselves here. And I've never really liked Void with TA. Like, Void needs like specific things, right? You want Faceless Void in a situation where this hero can actually help you win fights. And normally you get that when you have somebody else on the outskirts of the fight. A Leshrac, a Viper, somebody who's like, well, if you just chrono somebody, we will kill them. Don't worry about it. TA can do that sometimes if she's set up properly, that immediately as the bubble ends, there's already a psionic trap or two that get triggered out. She's able to make the chase very easy. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Yeah, I think we're actually gonna have ourselves a 2-0 for Windstrike. Windstrike also, the way that they were playing in the previous game, they've drafted such that they can play exactly the same style and not change all that much. But let's see how this goes. Game number 2 should be one that Team Spirit, if they want to win, they need this. Not that reverse all sweeps aren't impossible or are impossible, it's just that you don't want to rely on them given the difficulty in doing it reliably every single time. So we're going to see once the game does stack up exactly the direction we go with game number 2 and whether or not Windstrike themselves are feeling strong enough to just go grab a 2-0. This is the kind of draft that allows them to play with that comfort. So let us see where this goes. It's going to be enjoyable. It's going to be fun. One concern and one consideration is going to be the laning phase though. I am very, very worried about the Spirit lanes. Some of these heroes on the side of Windstrike are just terrifying in the laning phase, man. Got this Winter Wyvern who's just an absolute bother. Just sucks to play into. You know, you got the Mars in the safe lane, but you're playing this into like a life stealer now. Not like it's Mars Gyro or Mars into Jug or something. They already have access to the Nyx Assassin. Nyx can be a pesky hero in the laning phase at the best of times, but in this situation where there is not that much sustain from the enemy team, Nyx is really, really bothersome. On the bright side though, they have prevented them from getting... Wait, what? Oh no, sorry. Something looked weird here. On the bright side, they did prevent them from getting the Diraitro Gyrocopter. Had they done so, and he plays that hero again, this is a much more difficult game. But, let's see what kind of game he actually plays, as we now have a game of Dota 2! Woo! Yatoro. This Void, he asked for it 9th pick. Big Jaeger, I haven't been able to put in the emote just yet. I have to resize it and everything. I mean, as you can see from my previous work, that I can make the emotes, but I'm not particularly good at it. So it takes me a while to make it look very nice. I'll get there. Probably by like tomorrow or something, I'll be done with it. Yamich. On the Nyx Assassin, he can be a massive thorn in the side for your Toro. Throughout this game, in fact, Yamich is going to be doing all the advanced scouting for the side. Very good opportunity to get off impales that can change the game. And the big thing as well is his impact at breaking smokes, forcing gold usage that they might not enjoy out of the side of Team Spirit. Sandy, yes. TA is the big cheese hero. This is where the win needs to come from if it's going to come for Team Spirit. I'm not really looking towards the Faceless Void and winning the game. Like I said, his X Factor could be useful, could not be, but TA is where it's really at. This is the win condition. If she falls apart in the laning phase and doesn't get like an obscene amount of farm early on in the game, then things start to look quite difficult for Team Spirit, because then they have no damage in the mid game. Like literally no damage in the mid game. Alright, we're gonna try adjust colors again because someone's eyes are burning. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not the one that puts the feed up. Okay, let's do that. Let's do there. There we go. Bottom lane. This is not a lane where we expect the Faceless Void to come out aces in terms of his farm. Cheshire Cat will win this lane. He won the previous one. And as he does so against the Faceless Void, it does mean that Void spends a lot more time in this bottom lane, or having to dip into the jungle to try and get his own farm from there. He's going for the early Yasha rather than starting off with Maelstrom. Sky is hard to watch like? Yeah, man. What's the problem, Sky is? I can't make this better for you if you don't tell me what the issue is, bro. If the issue is only color grading, then unfortunately a shit out of luck. As long as you can see, I'm happy, honestly. Besides, the difference is the TEBT, they've got producers on the job. Okay. The spamming of some of these lines. I'm also considering, if we look at this top lane, right, with Diraitro here with the backup of Pantomime on the Winter Wyvern. I'm also considering exactly how the lane pans out for this lifestealer. It's mostly just farm. It's not like they're playing Miroslav on the Murano or anything, so there's no real kill threat onto Diraitro. Provided you have at least 1 point into rage, then you will be 100% able to find yourself in a good fight. Most of the time. The big issue that I'm going to have about this top lane though is that Diraicho, you'll just have to force him to farm underneath the tower. The closer you keep this lifestealer to his side of the map, the happier you are, because then you feel a bit more free for Miroslav to make movements elsewhere on the map without it being very, very apparent. Lifestealer is one of those heroes that, because he requires so much in the lane to address, if you're not doing that addressing, it's very apparent when a hero is instead making a rotation elsewhere.
Nothing to say.
Spirited away.
Hey! Misfit us Fiendus. Misfit us Fiendus? Congratulations for reading the Reddit post and pulling through. You're the first person to actually say that. And Z Gamer also shout out yesterday for letting me know about the Reddit post. Really do appreciate it. Mira. Now that we have a reconnect at long last, Diraicho has rejoined the game. He's ready to go and we can resume proceedings here in the grand finals. He's actually spending some time chasing this Phoenix. This is a little bit atypical. I mean, I suppose there wasn't much to do in the lane at the time, but could have been helping to finish off this deny that's being worked on by Pantomime, but it's still fine. Pantomime will get the deny. As we take a little look here back at middle. Oh, not middle. Top is where we need to look because Diraicho got speared to a tree but doesn't last long. Yeah, he's fine here. For the most part, this is not a lane where you're expecting this lifestealer to get all the farm in the world. Mars gets everything that he needs. Nah, my green screen is not even on the display right now, fam. It's not even on the display. Like, it's a completely different screen, a different window. I'm very concerned about bottom. I'm looking at the CS, right? I mean, we're looking middle now. There's not really all that much that we expect to break in between a lane of TA and Lina. These two heroes, for the most part, just trade farm. With TA not really being affected by the harass potential of Lina, and her not really being able to get close enough to harass the Lina with side blades herself. So this is not really the part of the match where I'm expecting things to pop off. That being said though, Rabel, we have to watch this hero because he has the potential to easily rotate and find kills. In the previous game, kills came to the mid lane for the Doombringer of Toronto, Tokyo. This time around, as the TA, I doubt kills will come that easily. He's going to have to go find them elsewhere on the map. Not the easiest targets in the world though. Top lane, you have this Winter Wyvern, Lifestealer combination. Down bottom, you have Tidehunter, Nyx. So it might actually be a while before we see any early rotations coming in from the Lina because the heroes that you're moving with don't necessarily help you get kills. Maybe you might go bottom because with Nyx being that side of the map, if you find the Impale onto Faceless Void, then you can actually use that to set up for the LSA. But for now, we'll just have the TA farming. She farming. Alright, Skyers, I really want to make it better for you, but looks like you've been outvoted, fam. I'm sorry. Democracy shall reign and the display shall stay as is for now. I love the build-up that we're seeing, like from these new Templar Assassins these days, with the Hurricane Pike into Deso, rather than just going Blink Deso. I mean, I do still think you can get Blink, and sometimes Blink comes out first, but we always love the addition of new items, and in a game versus Nyx Assassin, for example, Hurricane Pike is always lovely. They don't manage to get the kill onto Miposhka. Turn around, the Stroke of Fate, Cheshire Cat getting a bit of damage towards him, but he can do the backstroke because he knows that there's absolutely no way they actually kill him. The first 5 minutes of the game, we still do not have our first kill on the board. Been fairly static in the lanes. Mid lane, the advantage right now sitting in CS for the Lina, but she's been grabbing some of these side camps to make this easier for herself. Down bottom, Cheshire Cat. They're still keeping Yatoro from being able to get any full semblance of farm, although they haven't killed him. So we're happy. No one's moving either. These supports are all just sitting in their lanes, securing farm for the cause. They're like, let's have a 10-minute laning phase, y'all. It's fine. What could possibly happen? What could go wrong?
Radiant structures are fortified.
We also need to see how this laning phase, once it ends and the decisions are made about items. I want to see what's going to be built by the Lifestealer and this Faceless Void. Lifestealer has several options, can go Armlet, SNY straight. We started to see more Lifestealers just rushing Maelstrom to begin with. First while the Faceless Void. We've seen SNY, he's going for Yasha this game that we saw earlier. Don't know if it's an SNY or a Manta, but I've seen SNY straight, I've seen Yasha into Maelstrom, I've seen Yasha into BKB. Really will just depend on what he reads as being the best thing for him. But this kind of quiet early game though definitely benefits the side of Team Spirit because they have the Faceless Void. If you have Void, you almost automatically have the late game advantage. So the fact that this very early portion of the game is going so slowly, leading them to allow catch up from the laning phase, meaning that the big timings from Team Spirit gets allowed to come a little bit closer. Sure, it's difficult for Windstrike to make very progressive and aggressive plays right now, but definitely they'll want to start soon. You do not want to let this game just slowly but surely shift away in the favor of being a Void game. And all games on a long enough timeline become Void games. It's just a, well, will Void catch us in a chrono? If yes, we lose. If no, okay, things are not so bad. But when you're at that portion of the game and it's no longer up to your own performance, very frustrating to play Dota. 8 minutes in, barely any lead. Super tight here in the earlier portions of the farm. Level 6 is available for Yatoro now, and looks like he wants to go SNY into BKB, so just pure and sheer survivability. Recognizes that his time will come late game. Doesn't need to be right now. So right now the priority will be surviving the engagements. You get ravaged, you need to be able to survive long enough for Time Walk. Same is true of Winter's Curse, LSA, etc. The build he's going for will enable that far more than he would have been able to get by just going for a farming item.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
You see their metal TA just pushing back. Like, it's still like, it's almost as if the towers themselves haven't even taken damage. That's kind of crazy. This is some of the most static early game I've seen in a very long time. The question I actually wonder about the build from Guangzhou Gadara. Oh, Collapse throws in the arena just to escape from Diraicho. He know that he used the rage, so he's all good. We see here that the build is going to be for Deso first, it seems, but he's still thinking about it. Hasn't actually picked up the money for the first Mithril Orb, Mithril Hammer, excuse me. So, Guangzhou Gudala. Wonder what the decision making will be item wise after the Desolator. Deso is still acceptable as the first item. So the rest of the team that we'll also have to pay attention to see whether or not Collapse finds this early blink. Doesn't seem like he'll be able to survive this incursion on his. Oh wait, he's still alive. He's fine. He's fine. He's got phase boots in a second. He's fine, mate. Fine, mate. And here's Toronto, Tokyo. Oh, sorry, my bad. Harare, Havana, my bad. We're doing this alphabetically, so now we're at H, right? Not bad. We do have the first blood happening down bottom. Rabel, that was the first rotation. Did, ironically enough, go bottom to the lane we thought he'd go, but instead of targeting the Faceless Void with the assistance of Nyx Assassin, we'll just go easily get a Grimstroke kill without having to commit much effort of his own.
Has been denied.
Tower gets, and they're actually still sticking around with damage. So this is the rotation I thought they were gonna make at first, but they now have the Nyx Assassin Vendetta available to make it. There we go. It's gonna be Vendetta, Impale, LSA into the Laguna Blade, and Rabel able to pick up your Toro.
Nothing to say.
Nicely done there. Exactly what they needed. And the issue is that they're playing TA middle for Islamabad, Istanbul.
Structures are fortified.
As a result, they do not really have the capability of moving around the map right now. Gonna lose the Phoenix as well, Miroslav. I'd still die here. Cheshire Cat can't find the vision though. So no easy way to get that kill.
Dire's courier has been killed.
This map has been so bizarre. Like there's been so much movement on it, but in terms of movements that result in moments that allow you to say get a tower, get a Roche, and so few and far between. For example, that kill that we just saw onto the Winter Wyvern, it allows them to start pushing top,
Dire's courier
but that's the first such move that they've made on the side of Team Spirit. Still though, better late than never, and now potential is there to take the tier 1 tower. Well, heroes are streaming in to defend this. They don't push this very easily, so even without having mana, Cheshire Cat can just show up and he knows that killing him, like if they kill him, they commit everything and then they won't have anything left to actually take the tower itself. So his presence by itself zones them back. Cheshire Cat on point with the positioning and with the game sense. Wonder what he's building. Yatoro does finally have Yashra flying out now on the courier. I would maybe like to see a farming item come up before he finishes the full BKB. But potentially feeling under too much pressure. Some of this pressure coming in from heroes like Yamech, who's scouting you out, but Rabel is not nearby. If Rabel is here, then this is probably a kill onto Collapse. Rebel currently is in the jungle, so too busy beating up on these creeps to worry about killing enemy heroes.
radiant are scanning.
3 kills, almost 14 minutes into the game. Been one of the more cerebral early games from these teams. The stakes are pretty high. These are grand finals. In case y'all don't know, the winner, you win this one series and your team makes $50,000. You've already made 30, but $20,000 extra just for winning this one best of 5. The $20,000 game, y'all. Windstrike playing extremely carefully, getting the D wards on these psionic traps, making sure that Islamabad, Istanbul, no matter how far forward he gets in the game, no matter how much gold he's getting, doesn't have an easy way of just popping heroes by just showing up, slowing you down, boom, 3 hits later, you've taken a tumble. And the unpause will come out. Lifestealer pulls the G and proceedings can resume. And we see now the option from Lifestealer, so Faceless Void going for this more stat orientated build. Erstwhile Lifestealer just gonna go for Armlet SNY, or at least I envision it's gonna be SNY. Just pick up the Armlet. The main thing though for Team Spirit is making sure Yatoro can farm for later, because despite the fact that this game is so close, they still feel very bullish about the late game with this Faceless Void in tow. So if they're keeping him from dying, keeping him farming, You're in a position and in a situation where you can think about this late game in very positive terms on the side of Team Spirit. Damn. Listen, Jareen. Now you messed it up. Now I have to find different cities. Now you messed it up, bro. I was actually gonna say, that was actually the city I was gonna choose.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Farm. Johannesburg, Jakarta, lol. Has Deso, Dragon Lance up. Hurricane Pike isn't fully complete just yet. But it will come. The pace that's being set in this game, I am actually really shocked that this game has been as slow as it's been. If I'm playing on the side of Windstrike, I'm like, yo, y'all, don't we want to play as fast as humanly possible? Now, they're going to try go top for Team Spirit, looking for a grab onto Cheshire Cat. Very difficult kill here. Phantom's Embrace will prevent a Ravage for now, and they have... Do they have enough damage? Not just yet. Winter's Curse will come out. The Melt Strike does let them find the kill. Pantomime reveals his positioning thanks to throwing out that Winter's Curse. So as a result, we'll also take a tumble. Supernova used up. Rabel trying to get away from it, will not be able to do so. Spear to a wall by Collapse. They're going to chase him down with the Sunray, but 3 Fury Soul Stacks, more than enough movement speed. So that escape will happen. Yatoro found the kill onto Pantomime. And that's 2 heroes in exchange for 1. They did have to commit the Supernova for this. So Windstrike still has access to Ravage. Unfortunately, Winter's Curse came out a little bit too slow. Karachi Khartoum was like, if he'd been Winter's Curse before he could throw out the Melt Strike, would have saved Cheshire Cat's life, but it ends up not happening. And Cheshire Cat will just die heads up. And now that actually gives more gold towards Karachi Khartoum to get closer towards the Hurricane Pike, potential BKB as soon as he wants it. I mean, Benjamin, yes, they have been the slower region, but even for Eastern Europe, this is a bit ridiculous. There was one game though I saw, I think it was Windstrike versus Prosty Esley or something, where there was like first blood at like 15 minutes. It was crazy. Well, I think a bit hyperbolic, like sooner than that, but it was long into the game before we had the first kill. Jump in middle, collapse. Get the Inkswell out and they should be able to pick up Yamish here. Unfortunately for them, it doesn't allow them to immediately go into the Roshan pit. They really want to do so. Templar Assassin does have the Desolator, so the damage for the Rosh is available. But the respawn timer is a bit too low, so the Nyx will still be online. Fast enough to mount a defense. Miroslav trying to secure this double damage rune to make sure Collapse can pick it up. Collapse actually might want to blink forward and spear back Pantomime. Not feeling confident in the positioning though, so they won't let it happen. First big smoke of the game, Windstrike. And they make something happen. There's also an Infest gank here. Cheshire Cat blinking forward, comes across Miposhka. But Miposhka will be very happy to allow that death to happen. The path towards Roche is potentially open, but they don't have that much negative armor themselves on the side of Windstrike, so taking down the Aegis this early on is unlikely to happen. Blink Ravage though from Cheshire Cat. Connecting on the 3. Nobody dead just yet though. Will a Supernova come out? Not from Miroslav. Cheshire Cat was able to set up quite nicely. There's going to be Yatoro though with the counter initiation coming through with the Chrono directly into the Arena of Blood, which was set up by Collapse. They only get the 1 kill though. And they lost Collapse on the far side of the fight regardless. Diraicho trying the lifesteal back up. I'm not sure they have vision of him, so they don't see how low Diraicho is. Now they want to try fighting him. He's armlet toggling. Yatoro jumping forward with the Inkswell on him, but now he's isolated from the rest of his team. Winter's Curse will keep him isolated from the rest of the squad as they bring down the Faceless Void. Windstrike came so close to losing Diraicho, but Team Spirit seemed to have lost their heads and forgot to right-click the Lifestealer. So he survives the fight, walks away, and now suddenly They are the team that is poised to take the Roche if they want to. Cheshire Cat though, his death will delay this at the very least, so now they can't go into the pit. That's good. Okay. Yule Scepter up now. Pantomime. Will he be able to escape this? Impale did try to buy him some space, but whoo! The damage. The damage. Wow, okay. The damage from Lagos London just way too high. And they are able to find that kill. Here's this Ravage again, catching 4 heroes. The big play here, here's where the game changes, right? The arena is whatever, it's fine. Collapse is losing his life, Rebel chases him, and Yatoro goes in for the chrono. But look at the Faceless Void and the Lifestealer. They take out this Winter Wyvern, right? Lifestealer taking some damage. He goes now to the side camp. And they don't, like, Yatoro only sees him now, and Toronto Tokyo is not going to hit him. Only now they're like, wait a second, Diraicho's so low, but Diraicho was busy life-stealing back up off these creeps. And look at Pantomime, this Winter's Curse, perfect. Makes it impossible for TA or anybody from Team Spirit to continue chasing down the ramp. They isolate the Faceless Void, they kill him. And Lagos, Nigeria, or Lagos, London, excuse me, Lagos is in Nigeria. Lagos, London just has to sit there watching the death happen, can't really contribute. And that fight goes in favor of Windstrike. I really hope none of you have bet first to 10, because otherwise you must be sweating right now.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Windstrike. At the present moment, it really does feel like, for them, the control they have of this map only gets more strident. They have this Heaven's Halberd here on Lifestealer, and this mid game, the next like 10 minutes is when this team is really, really strong. That being said though, Team Spirit also have a mass amount of strength here picked up. Lagos London has BKB now. And with BKB in tow, makes a huge difference. Because Windstrike suddenly no longer have access to Ravage. You can walk past Winter's Curse. Impale does nothing. Rabel hasn't finished the full right-click build that he had in the previous game, so he's still not a major threat. Well, they are infested now. Cheshire Cat gets off the Ravage. Miposhka the first one to pop through this one. Other side of the fight, Rebel. Yule Scepter up onto Yatoro. And they even use a Winter's Curse. Pantomime, oh, he's gonna get the D-Ward off before dying. Supernova used on the other side of things. There's gonna be the Chrono on the 2. Diraicho gonna get popped by the bubble as well. And the Chrono, did he die? Yes, he does. They finally bring down this Lifestealer. Cheshire Cat, he's also gonna be in danger. Yamich opens up a beautiful amount of space with the Impale. Might give up his own life for the cause as Cheshire Cat can finally blink away to safety. A 2-for-2 trade there. Collapse does die, but they get the big prize by bringing down Diraicho. That was everything on the Lifestealer. Supernova popped on him. He was inside the bubble. Toronto Tokyo, aka Mumbai Moscow, was able to beat down onto the LS, and Diraicho takes a tumble. Big fight here for Team Spirit, especially for Yatoro. The longer this hero keeps staying alive, remember the late game. What do they do late game versus Faceless Void on the side of Windstrike? The answer is not much. They cannot afford to be falling behind in these fights at this particular juncture in the game. They need these fights to go well. They need these fights to be successful.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yamish. They get an arena out onto the Winter Wyvern. Yamish does not want to reveal himself here. They'll just pop the Wyvern. Cheshire Cats. Okay, they actually reveal themselves onto Miroslav, who just Icarus dives onto the high ground. Yamish throws in a very nice Impale. With the Spike Carapace there, trying to hold this fight a little bit longer. Collapse, looking for an opportunity to try and bring down this Nyx Assassin. They succeed in doing so. The Temper Assassin who gets the last click. Moscow Mumbai now sitting 5-0-3 on the Temper Assassin. Rolling in towards having this Blink Dagger. Actually has the gold to purchase it right now if he desires. And maybe saving up for both Blink and Hurricane Pike simultaneously. However, here they are, pressing forward for the tier 2 after that fight. Despite not getting much bigger targets, the fact that they are all up with none the worse for wear on the side of Team Spirit makes it very difficult for Winstrike to conceptualize jumping back in without having the full complement on their side. It's moving down away from this aggression that's taking place in the Radiant jungle. As Yatoro is busy getting bigger, responsibility is still on Nagoya, New York, but he's handling it well. Still staying very high up there in the net worth. Unfortunately for him though, this Lina is also staying very high up, and Rabel having just as impactful of a game 2 performance as game 1. Not struggling really anywhere on the map, dishing out damage at his leisure, always at the back of the fight. So difficult to close the gap and find this Lina and potentially kill her. Luboshka, always the one to break the smoke gank. He's happy to do it. And they'll just take the tier 1. Look how fast they push on the side of Winstrike. My god. Looks like they might want to force another push here. But with the TP out from the Lina, Rabel is where most of this right click damage is coming from at present. So they'll just decide to let this go. Back off rather. New York, Nangjin down bottom. Almost has enough gold to finish the MKB. Very early port of call, however, he is recognizing that there was an early pickup of the Heaven's Halberd, which frustrates life, makes things feel bad. So get the MKB. You also know that in the event that they buy like a butterfly at some point, you've covered the basis for that item. Collapse. Being scouted here, Impale will land out onto the Mars. Collapse will drop the arena, but okay. Hashtag worth, boys. We forced out a Ravage from Cheshire Cat. Sweet. Despite dying, Collapse will be happy with what just happened. Needed to commit his own arena before that, but I don't think he minds. When you have a situation where now they don't have the big team fight ultimate for another 2 minutes. MKB finally up for Toronto, Tokyo. But what can the CA do? What can be done by Orania Osaka? I suppose at this stage of the game, the core concern for you on Team Spirit as well, even if they have so much big team fight, we actually haven't lost anything on the map that's irreplaceable. That's always a big thing when I see these Templar Assassin lineups. You just want to be still playing in a game where you have access to your own jungle. As long as you still have that, the game is still somewhat winnable as TA. It starts to go really pear-shaped when there's no real farming mechanism even. And now top, they might find a very important target here. Look who is alone in the lane. It is Cheshire Cat. And they get the kill is the question though. They have all the heroes around, so I think they have the damage. Yeah, he's dead. And because they know he committed Ravage down bottom, they're not afraid of him letting the Ravage rip and suddenly providing opportunity for Winstrike to come in and counter him. Roche up in 35 seconds as well, so if they can get into the pit as soon as the Roche respawns, and they'll have the vision as soon as it does because the Psionic Trap has been dropped inside. Opportunities do abound here for Team Spirit. They've also just grabbed a Maelstrom. The window is shutting for the side of Winstrike. Oh, what? Rabel's good at Dota. He's still gonna die though, unfortunately. It's a bit regrettable. There's not much they can do to save him here. They even popped a supernova for this. At the same time, TA just burst through Pantomime on the high ground. Rebel. Oh boy. Pop the BKB. That's a really heads up play. Yules is up the Faceless Void because he's thinking to himself, if this is the one hero that's not chasing me, potentially I can get away, but too much movement speed. Speaking of Yatoro, they know that this Lifestealer is present down bottom and they're gonna try catch him and kill him. Diraicho, so bound up right now by Miposhka. They committed the chrono already and they have more than enough damage to right click him down, and now suddenly the escape will not be possible for Yamich either. 4 heroes dead on the map, and Team Spirit with a 2k gold lead. Are they turning this around somehow? It looks that way. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Roche easily claimed right now by Team Spirit, having access to this Deso on Toronto, Tokyo. And they also managed to put this Aegis in the hands of Paris Perth. So now doubly invincible. Very difficult to kill. They don't have any easy ways of popping through the refraction charges either. Evidenced by the fact that he still has 0 deaths. Although this might be the first one here. Here they come. Collapse. Arena of Blood right around this next assassin. They really want to find Toronto, Tokyo and take away this first life, but he pops the refraction. Beautiful Ravage from Cheshire Cat allows them to take the first life away. Can they set up for more? Collapse also falling very low. They don't really care about his kill because they get the Winter's Curse out onto both the TA as well as Faceless Void. However, Yotoro's presence makes them a little bit reticent to just dive fully in without knowing where everybody is at. Diraicho, will he be able to destroy the Supernova Egg? Yes, they can. Both him and Yamich make sure that it does go down. Infest into Yamich prevents him from getting brought down on the lifesteal, and he infests out, goes back onto the TA, and they get the kill. Rio Rome is gone. And without Rio Rome, everybody else has to run the hell away. Yatoro manages to get off the time walk. He's fine. Finds the far side of the fight, and he will live. Man, what a horrible fight. Team Spirit getting very aggressive, going to steal farm in Dire Triangle and get massively punished for it. Okay, I thought the window was starting to shut for whether or not Windstrike could still win this game, but after that play, they crack open the window a little bit more open. But let's see that again. So here's the Impale to set things up initially, but after they get off this arena, here's the big Ravage, right? So they separate Collapse. Collapse now is not sitting right next to the CA. He's going to the right hand side of the fight, so now it's very difficult for him to offer help. He's being zoned away, right, by the damage from the Lina. Winter's Curse comes out, but even when they use the Supernova after this, because of the positioning of everybody, it's very hard to imagine just getting back in on the fight directly. There's a Supernova, easy to kill. Collapse comes back in, dies almost instantly, and we see Rebel getting healed up as well by Pantomime. I must say, Pantomime actually hard carried this fight, in my opinion. Getting that Winter's Curse to waste the timing of the TA BKB, getting the heal onto Rebel to not allow Yatoro to kill her, being able to make sure that you throw out the Splinter Blast, which actually kept tracking onto the TA before she was able to TP away. Oh, blink, before she tried to blink further away, sorry. Now off the back of that, everything back up into even. Team Spirit. We were speaking earlier about the fact that they will have this late game advantage as we get closer into this late game. Despite them feeling like they'll have the advantage on Void, everybody else starting to feel a little bit fragile is probably the better word.
Some things were just not meant to be.
I like the fact that Collapse is building into this Vladimir's offering. I do think it's quite valuable for the team to have that additional source of sustain. I mean, in this game, unlike in the previous one where they played with the Guardian Greaves on Mira. Speaking of Mira, gonna take a tumble top. Oh no, has Aeon Disc. Has Aeon Disc. Might still die though, because Diraicho will reveal the Abyssal Blade onto the Phoenix as they manage to get the Spike Carapace stun out, and now They're chasing me, Boschka. Impale will find him. And this should be a quick grab. Okay, a burst of aggression comes in from Windstrike. This is what I wanted the whole game. Like Yamich just rolling around with an infested target or just scouting out for the team. Being like, let's go, let's kill right here. And they get those kills. Has not really been a priority for them. For the most part, it's been getting farm. Now, with Roshan coming up fairly shortly. Oh, fairly shortly for the state of the game. Collapse. Almost level 18 on self. Yatoro needs... What does Yatoro need? Let's click on the faces void. Cameraman, oblige us please. Cameraman? Cameraman? What's great is that he can't hear me, but somehow I have a feeling, a conviction, that if I yell at him hard enough, in my spirit, he'll hear me and be like, okay, fine, let me click on void. Almost. In the same lane, okay, you're almost there, fam, you're almost there. Yamish is scouted here, so they might want to get this turnaround. Yatoro, not really interested in being too close. Phantom's Embrace out. They don't know if there is a young lifestealer that's sitting inside this Mix Assassin. They're still going for this chase. They now surmise that it's unlikely that there's a lifestealer here because otherwise he would have popped out. So they just get the kill. Oh boy. They were bought some space on Windstrike after a magnificent fight got them a kill onto Yatoro some minutes ago. Sadly, since then they haven't been able to keep any kind of real pace going onto the other side of the map. So the window that was opening, or being kept slightly open for them, will begin to close yet again. Cannot be held ajar forever. TA. She wants... Oh well, we're not clicked on TA now, so I can't finish the item. Tidehunter is gonna go for this refresher. Double Ravage. Given what these single Ravages have been doing to Team Spirit whenever he lands it properly, if he ever gets a good Ravage, or at this point just a normal Ravage for him, man, things look difficult in the follow-up. 17-17 is the scoreline at the moment. Practically nothing in it gold-wise. Experience, I doubt there's that much of a difference either. And the next protocol wants to be Roche for both teams. About a minute till the normal timer is up. Then we shall see. And they just got this refresher as they're getting these new tiers of items. So potentially this could lead into something useful to help them push onto the high ground. Minotaur Horn and Flicker gotten. One for Lina, one for the Mars. I think Mars is happier with the Spell Prism. He'll just keep this. He's like, yeah, this is a good time. This is a good time. Let me not worry about it. Outpost. Taken now by Collapse. Yamish tried to interrupt this with an Impale. Oh, there's going to be the first Ravage and the second one as well. Do they actually have the damage to kill this TA? They're trying to. The damage, not enough. There's the Chrono coming in on the 3. Winter Wyvern, the first one to pop. Supernova also coming down. It's not actually going to burst onto anybody because the double Yule Scepter protects them, but they will not be protected from the damage of this TA. No, wait, maybe they will be. Rabel gets infested into, so stays alive a little bit longer. Winter's Curse onto the Mars, not allowing them to chase Lina, but the jump in from Yatoro is going to be enough eventually, and they do get the kill. Spear of Mars down onto Yamit, kills him. Diraicho is completely isolated. He's going to die. And now Pantomime did what he could on this side of the fight, but it's not going to be enough. 4-5 hero wipe. Windstrike eviscerated. And they're the ones that went for the aggressive jump. They were trying to burst Cheshire Cat, have him go straight in onto Toronto Tokyo, find a way to kill this Templar assassin, but unfortunately for them, at the very last moment, Santiago Sao Paulo, or my favorite name, Sol Soweto, got off the BKB. So there we go. Ravage 1. Ravage 2, LSA, so much damage, but BKB, jump in from Yotaro, and there's the chrono. They also use that nice arena from Collapse to prevent Cheshire Cat from getting closer. But this fight ends up being a absolute disaster. What the hell were they thinking? Why go in for that jump, Cheshire Cat? Too much ambition being displayed by Windstrike, and nobody can escape. Rebel dies, they waste the Winter's Curse, and there's nothing Pantomime can do. Just has to watch the Raichu getting taken out and follow him into the grave almost immediately thereafter. Also led into them being able to claim a massive advantage by taking not just one, but 2 full lanes of racks on the side of Team Spirit off of the back of that one fight. One fight! And somebody was mentioning in chat earlier, Jirin, you're saying that the moment that a fight happens like that, the base just get eviscerated. Impale on the 2, both the TA and Faceless Void can't keep chasing. However, the arena prevents the escape from Yamcha and Cheshire Cat. Nice Winter's Curse. Not enough damage though to really be a bother towards the TA, although Abyssal Blade, LSA, do they have enough? No, they do not. She's kept alive. Yatoro jumping directly onto Rebel. Aeon just keeping the Lina up for now, but it's not going to last forever as here comes the damage. But Cheshire Cat throws in Ravage, catches 4. Still not enough. Still not enough. This game is over. Collapse might be the only one that takes a tumble here, but the Sunray from Mira preventing Collapse from actually dying. Oh my goodness. The Raichu will get taken out. There's the refresh Ravage. They at least get Collapse, but I don't see how much this matters. And with the chrono drop down, GG is called. Woo! Phenomenal game in Team Spirit. Get themselves the 1-1. They get themselves back into the game. And they put themselves in a situation where it's equal. It's even. No! Did ads pop out? Oh god, pre-roll ads must have... We didn't have time to run another ad just before the game went live. Oh my goodness. Oh, gotta hate them pre-rolls. Gotta hate them pre-rolls. Well, that is... Looks like the cameraman's not on point that side, so we can't really see the graphs and the like. Oh wait, as I say, hey, you see, I told you if I yell at the cameraman, spiritually he'll hear it and he'll be like, okay, my bad, G, my bad, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, well. What a game. That is the kind of victory that you definitely want to see from Team Spirit. They had the late game advantage and Windstrike just let them get there for free, basically. It was like no contest for the first 15 minutes of the game. Windstrike just let them farm freely, get everything they wanted, and then... Are you surprised when what happens next is a victory for the team? Not really. It is a best of 5. But I have bad news for y'all. Hold on. Where is this thing? There we go. I'm gonna copy this and paste this. Well, the real ones will know what this means. So everybody, wait, where's the screen? All right, here we go. I mean, we're gonna talk about the game in a second. Don't get me wrong, but I'm putting out just a bit of gas for the real ones. The real ones won't like what I'm about to show them, but it is what it is. Yesterday's timer is back. Ish. Y'all know what that means. Y'all weren't here yesterday. The timer means that we're losing power in about 44 minutes. So I'm actually thinking, right, since I'm going to lose power at that point anyway, do I even start the third game? Or do we just do the draft and call it a day? Yesterday, like, it's not fun. Yesterday we were already in the swing of things. The game was already going. And then the power went out like mid-game. It's bad for the computer, and it sucks to be watching anything and have it be cut out halfway, right? So to that end, I'm thinking it might be better for us to just call it here. Yeah, it's the final countdown, dude. What do y'all think? Should I just call it here and say GG well played, it's 1-1, to BO3 and then the TBT people can take over as normal to finish things out? Or do we at least do the draft? No, actually, I'm thinking we actually let this go, because this is going to be like another 10 minutes before the game starts. Do the draft. Okay, we'll do the draft. However, after we do the draft, unfortunately, everybody, we have to call it for the evening, because I'm going to lose electricity as soon as that power hits 0. Unfortunately, the country I live in, yeah, let's not get as political as yesterday. Yesterday we went in, especially once the lights went out. Nonetheless, Windstrike find themselves now having taken a tumble in this particular game, in large measure, in my opinion, because the pace of the game was available for them to chase, but they didn't feel like they were chasing it as hard as they could have. The time when they started chasing it a little bit, there were a few fights that looked successful from them, but sort of came a little bit too little too late. So now Team Spirit, happy to have gotten the victory, because it puts them in a very, very decent position. And that position being that now everything's even again. You just need 3 wins, 2 to go for both teams. Let's see who's going to get there first. We're not going to be able to finish the full game 3, but the game 3 draft will come quite shortly. So don't go anywhere. In the meantime, make sure you're following the channel. If you haven't, consider becoming a supporter by subscribing, becoming a patron, or pulling through with a one-time donation on PayPal. All of it, trust me when I say all of it, makes literally a life-changing difference. And I thank you all who have helped out up until this point. Also, we've been releasing a lot of new content. Let me know what you think about the new video. I was going to release the group stage video like now-ish, but because of the power issues yesterday, I haven't been able to finish editing it, but I'll finish editing it tonight. And before the wildcard itself actually starts tomorrow, you will have that group stage video ready for your viewing pleasure. Regrettably though, only the draft coming soon, but don't go anywhere, because that draft is gonna be lit. See you shortly for some more Dota 2 action. Ladies, gentlemen, and my NB comrades, welcome back to the snare casting panel. Unfortunately, we will not be able to broadcast the full game, but game 3 of this best of 5 will still be lit. We're gonna have to go only through the draft between Windstrike and the side of Team Spirit, because I am losing power at this point in exactly 33 minutes, so there will not be enough time for us to cover the game with the full breadth that it deserves. So instead of giving you snare casting, welcome to snare paneling, as we are now going to walk through these drafts and try to figure out exactly which one of these two teams will get themselves the first leg up advantage going into the rest of the series and into game 4. So looking at the draft, Windstrike, let's go home. GG, well played. GG, well played. We are done. Nothing we can do. Windstrike have Ancient Apparition Clockwork as their opening support duo. Woo! Alrighty. AA Clock. Alright, so I think AA is the best 5 position in the game. I think Clock is the best 4 position in the game. Should be easy. Team Spirit in the meantime did go for the more aggressive style of play for them. This is more in line with what I expect from Team Spirit drafts as well. Having the Miroslav Tiny, you've already got the Grimstroke with the Toronto Tokyo Void Spirit, not Faceless Void, Void Spirit. And it's actually acceptable for me to call him Toronto Tokyo because the last thing I called him was Soweto Soul, so we're on S to T, so we're good, Batrider now grabbed up by the side of Windstrike. I'm wondering if this is actually going to be Batrider position in the mid lane, because this matchup is fairly decent for the Bat. You put a lot of pressure onto Void Spirit, make it quite difficult for him to actually play the style of game that he wants. I also kind of wonder right now whether or not Team Spirit want to just all in commit, get a hero like Tidehunter. That's been the hero that's been picked up by Cheshire Cat every single time. You get it yourself now, or you get Oracle. It's actually going to be offlane Tiny then. Wait, is this offlane Tiny or offlane Void Spirit? I think they're not sure yet themselves. They'll decide now. Now that they see they're playing into Templar Assassin, neither of which are really happy about playing into TA. Like, you can imagine, right? If they go middle with Void Spirit versus TA is like, I just keep farming. And if they go middle with Tiny, then TA really keeps farming. Then she like dominates that lane. So there's a lot of conversation, I think, to be had about who actually goes mid. What is Uptown gonna play for himself in the mid lane? In the meantime, it's almost certain that this Batrider now goes offlane. Must make sure that whatever hero gets picked is one that Batrider doesn't do well against. I mean, in this game, just look at the pace that Windstrike have. AA, Clock, Bat, TA. It's so difficult to reliably stay alive. Oracle is going to have to work overtime here in game 3 in order to keep everybody from popping very early on in the engagements. It is still possible for him to do, don't get me wrong. But it's not easy. It's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. We see the ban on the PL as well as on this Terror Blade. So it looks like they want Medusa as their pick here for Windstrike. They take out some of these illusion heroes. What is going to be their last pick? One of the things I also don't like about the way they've concocted this draft from the side of Windstrike, or that I love about it, right, is whatever carry they pick here, they have options, right? They can go for a carry that just scales into the ultra late game like we saw Team Spirit do with the Yatoro Void, or pick a more active carry that gets involved earlier. Either way, your team can play around that, right? You can definitely benefit from more early damage. However, you can also hold the game with these 4 heroes to give time to a big hero to catch up and get a lot of net worth going. Team Spirit, they're going to have a lot of responsibility on that Tiny to continually hunt the Ancient Apparition and or the Batrider. Don't allow these heroes to have presence in the fights. AA in particular needs to die early and needs to die often. We still don't know what's actually going into the mid lane for Jian Jingjiang. Ooh, look at this. The Raicho Bristleback. I love this actually. I actually love this BB pickup. The only thing they have that'll actually inconvenience the Bristleback is the Aether Remnant, pulling him in such a way that he turns his back around. But beyond that, I think this BB has a very comfortable game. Especially if somebody on the team can buy some form of magic resist. Then suddenly this Bristleback looks indomitable. Once he shows up to the fight, especially playing with Ancient Apparition, imagine an Ice Blast hits you as the quills are racking higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. Becomes a major problem. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. We've got the Yangon Yellowstone Tiny in the mid lane and Void Spirit going off, but last pick on Luna. Do y'all have faith? Do y'all believe in the Luna? Do y'all think that this can actually get the gas, get the W? Oops, let me bring the proper page back. There we go. I personally don't have faith in Luna, but I've also seen Luna win despite me lacking that faith many a time. I don't know. I don't know. We're gonna open up predictions quickly. 25 minutes until the entire lose power. So I'll leave predictions open. Y'all can just quickly make them. But with the draft being set, I personally do think that Windstrike will be the team that grabs themselves the 3rd game here. And upon grabbing the 3rd game, go ahead in the series 2-1, making it a bit of a chase again for the side of Team Spirit. I'm not sure I really believe in this last pick Luna. I don't necessarily like the balance of their team fight, and it feels like this Tiny has to do so much in this game for him to be really effective and for the team to come away with the victory that they need. So with all these factors, I also really like Ancient Apparition. I really like Clockwork as a support. I think they work really well together. This is a fantastic game for Bristleback, and it's Bristleback with AA. I'm gonna go Windstrike. I think Windstrike will actually be able to grab themselves the 3rd game, and from there put themselves ahead in the series overall. If they drop like this again, then I would not be surprised that by the time my power comes back, I find that it's Windstrike that are sitting atop the Pinnacle throne as the champions. So with that, the draft is finished. If they shut down Bristol, yeah, then they do win, to be fair. Then if they shut down Bristol, then it's just over, then they do win. Unfortunately though, y'all, I'm paying attention to this timer here. I would like to cook food before I run out of power so I have something to eat. Yesterday I had to... it was rough yesterday, let's just put it that way. And I don't want to have that experience yet again today. So thank you all so much for joining me for these last 2 games. I'm very, very sorry that I can't bring you the 3rd one. Government. Being African, it is what it is. Thank you so much for this time. Thank you for your attention. Thank you so much for the kind words. I know some of y'all, you might not tell me your Reddit handles, but you were quietly on the Reddit thread, putting in some gas, saying some nice things. Shout out to y'all who pulled through from the Reddit. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you enjoyed yourself. You had a good time. If you did have a good time, please make sure that you are following the channel. Also make sure to support in whatever way you can. You can decide to become a subscriber here through Twitch, a patron through Patreon, or you can make a young one-time donation through PayPal. The donations change everything, make all the difference in the world. I cannot explain to you how much of a difference that kind of thing makes. Punam, like, if they're still playing, when I get power back, yeah, then I'll happily do it. But if they're still playing, I doubt they'll still be playing because I'm losing power from when the timer goes out, right? So 6 o'clock my time until 8:30. I highly doubt they'll still be playing at that point. Yeah, I had an inverter, but with the blocks, it's very painful. It's very painful. nonetheless, I really do thank you everybody for being with me, and we'll be back. I'm not sure actually. I'll probably be back like in the next couple of days to do some BTS Southeast Asian stuff, but let me tell you some plans, right, about how I want to do. I want to stay away from casting major games for 2 reasons. Firstly, 7-minute delay is too long. It kind of feels like unless somebody specifically requests that I do a game, I know for like with a 7-minute delay from the mainstream has some of the best casters on the planet. Come on, I know what's up. It is what it is. But what I wanted to do is spend more time making content. So content style videos in the not exactly the same format as we saw with the wildcard one, but I'm gonna make it on the group stage video today, playoff video probably tomorrow. And what I want to do, instead of casting the major, I'm gonna be grabbing like highlights and stuff throughout the major itself, some interesting plays, things that I personally believe help teams win, and we'll maybe make like, I don't know, I'll figure out exactly what kind of content I'll do from that. But yeah, that's gonna be occupying some of the time that's not here from the streams, but we'll still be streaming, we'll still be out here. Oh, Poonam, I appreciate that, comrade. I appreciate that. You see, things like that make me, I'll be like, I can consider doing that specifically for you. So if there's a day that there's a matchup you specifically want to watch, just hop on Discord, be like, hey, Snare, please do this game. And then if I'm not busy, I'll be like, sure, I got you. Oh, well, I'm sad, but what can we do? Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you yet again for all the support. And I'll see y'all definitely online tomorrow, whether it be online through YouTube or online here through Twitch. That'll somewhat be decided by the nature of the electricity gods and whether or not there's good Dota to play, because the major obviously is starting and attention is going to be drawn towards that. But make sure you hit the notification bell then and you will not miss out. That's me, it's your boy, and I'll see y'all later tomorrow in the future. Thanks so much for being here. I'm sad yet again that, yeah, it is what it is. I love y'all. See you tomorrow. And love yourselves. So actually, here's homework. This is the last thing I'm going to say. All the love and affection and the gas and hopes, all the good things that you've had towards me in the last couple of months, hours, however long you've been out here, please turn that in on yourself as well. Be as kind to you as you've been to me. Support yourself just as hard as you supported me. And just have nothing but goodwill for yourself. And I really hope that you get tenfold the love you've shown to me. Thank you all. See you tomorrow. Bye.